there that you can hear as the camera very helpfully just zooms down to that car. All eyes, cameras and protesters on that car, because it looks very possible that Juan Guaido is in that car, about to step out to speak to all of those protesters there in the capital. And you can just hear the level of anticipation, of shouting, of horns blaring, because he has been out of the country for a number of days. In that period, of course, Venezuela, they tried, the opposition, to get humanitarian aid into the country. They tried and failed. That was blocked by Nicolas Maduro. And you can see the security. The door opens, and there it is. Quite extraordinary scenes there in the center of Caracas. And if Nicolas Maduro is watching, I suppose the obvious question for him is, how do you respond? What is the next move that might work when you have this right there in the capital set against you? Huge levels of support and cheers from his supporters. As he edges his way through the crowds, he'll eventually get to a microphone to address all of those people. But of course, one of the things he has been urging is for the military, for soldiers, to say this is the time to depart. And he welcomed those soldiers that defected across the border to Colombia, but he will have hoped that more would follow suit, and adding pressure on Nicolas Maduro, and that has not so far happened, with the bulk of the military staying loyal to the president. But all of those questions that were posed before Juan Guaido left the country, they are still very much at play now as we watch these live pictures. Because what the military does, that still is very much a live question. Trying to get humanitarian aid into the country, that is very much a live question. Trying to just break this logjam between these two principal political figures in Venezuela, that is still a live question. And it is anyone's guess as to where this actually goes in the coming days. Nicolas Maduro, despite all of the pressure on the streets there in Caracas, the international political pressure from all of those countries that now say they recognize this man as the interim leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro refusing to accept any of that. And I suppose critically, he still has the support, Nicolas Maduro, of Russia and of China. And in terms of the global politics, that is hugely important in terms of his ability to stay in office in Venezuela. Despite all of this crescendo of noise, of pressure that you are seeing there on the streets, Nicolas Maduro digging in. And I think as long as the military stay with him, as long as the Russians, the Chinese offer their assistance, it has the potential to get drawn out into a very long timescale of this sort of dynamic that has the president in office and has this opposition leader with so much street support.